Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I told you last week that I'm going to continue with a series of how you can secure a resident permit for your spouse or for your family to join you in Estonia if you are already in Estonia or if you are aspiring to come to Estonia in the future. Because a lot of questions do come out like, okay, if I decide to relocate to Estonia, will I be able to get a resident permit for my family to come and meet me? Yes, of course, there is possibility, but it has its own procedures. So in this comprehensive video, I'm going to be showing you how to do that seamlessly. In this video, I'm going to be dealing with the required documents that you need in order to submit the application for the resident permit for your spouse. And also, I'm going to be showing you in real time how to fill all the necessary forms online. Now, the first document I'm going to be talking about, and of course, the document that is the most important document, is your temporary resident permit form. So, you are going to fill the temporary resident permit form and you are going to print it out to sign it. I mean, that will be done by your spouse because the person that is going to fill that particular form and sign it is the applicant. So, of course, it is the spouse that is applying to come and join the other spouse in Estonia that has to fill the form. However, there are three documents that you have to fill from the police and border guard portal in Estonia. The first one was the one I talked about, that is the resident permit application form. The second form is called data of family relation. This form also is going to be filled by the spouse that is applying to join the other spouse in Estonia. So you are going to list the names, the phone number, and the address of your family members. Now, your family members can be your father, your mother, your brothers, and your sisters. It can also be your uncles and your aunts. But in most cases, it is much more better for you to fill your immediate family names in that form. And I think that the main reason why they want you to fill that form is so that in the future, if you want to invite your parents or your family, then they know that you have actually registered them before, that they are your family members. And of course, you can always change the data of your family relation anytime you want to change it. Yes, it is possible for you to change it. Probably maybe at some stage in life, maybe your parents passed away and you want to put somebody else in their place. I think, of course, it is very, very possible for you to change it at any point in time. But it's much more better for you to fill the name of the people that you have a tendency of inviting over to Estonia in that form. So I will advise that that will be the best thing for you to do. So I'm going to put how the form looks like for you in this video. I will do it somehow so that you will learn how to fill this form. As displayed on the screen, this is how the application form looks like. Both the first page and the second page. So, like I mentioned, you have to be careful how you fill the form. So, don't mind me, I'm looking at the screen of my laptop so that I'll be looking at the form as I'm explaining how you are going to fill it for you. So, you see that from the start, they wrote that you should give your names, that is the name of the applicant, the name of the person that is actually applying for the resident permit. So you are going to give your full name as it is contained on your international passport. This name must follow what is on your international passport. So where they wrote given name or names, so if you have first name and middle name, it's better for you to put your first name and middle name there as it appear on your international passport. But if you don't have a middle name in your international passport, there is no need for you to put it. But if you have a middle name in your international passport, you must put it. So all the name that you're going to fill must be as it is on your international passport. You know, I've repeated it like 3 to 4 times now because it's very important. So you are going to write it there. Then your surname, you are going to write it as well. Then where they wrote previous names and surname. Now they write patronym. This is really important for females. So you know that when you get married, you are going to change your last name. So it is important for you to fill this there. But if it is a man, your name is still your name. So fill the same thing that you fill in the first place to the second place. But for woman, if your surname change or any of your name change, fill the one that it changed to there as well. Then the Estonian personal code. You don't have an Estonian personal code yet because you are just applying for your resident permit. So you don't need to put your Estonian personal code. So instead, you are going to put your date of birth and your gender. Then place of birth, wherever you were born, put it there, nationalities. These are normal information that is in any form. You can fill that. Now where they wrote contact address in Estonia, so you have to write the contact address of your spouse in this space with the zip code. So make sure that you ask for the proper address, the full address in Estonia. Then you are going to write it. Then they write resident address in Estonia. Okay, contact address in Estonia, resident address in Estonia. In my own opinion, you can also put the same address there. So, but sometimes you might not even put it there. But of course, put the same address of contact address in Estonia, and the resident address in Estonia, you might leave it blank because currently you are not living in Estonia. But if you must put it, then put the address of your spouse in that space as well. Then contact address in the foreign country, that is your contact address in the country where you are currently residing now. So you have to put your contact address there. So then your email, your phone number. So make sure that you put country code in that phone number just in case they want to call you or something. In front of that phone number, you know, the one that you are going to change the 0 to plus wherever the code number of the country where you are coming from. In the case of Nigeria, the country code is +234. So instead of the 0, you are going to put +234, then you continue the phone number. Then they write basis for application. So you know, in this case we are talking about for settling to reside with your spouse. So the first one is usually the first one on the form. So that is what you are going to tick. So then, before I forget, this particular form, when you download it from the police website, you have to fill it on soft copy in block letter, that is in capital letter. Then you are going to save it and then you print it out. It's only your signature that you will use pen to write. So that is the first page. Then you are going to write the date that you want to submit the application at the embassy. That is the appointment date that you have with the embassy. Make sure that is the date that you write, because I mean, I think it's just reasonable. It's not compulsory, but I think that is very reasonable to write the date that you have appointment at the embassy. So then you sign. Then the second page is your biographical data. So they ask for your are you married? Of course you are married because you want to come and meet your spouse. Then is it a common law marriage? I told you that in Estonia they have different legal binding marriage, or don't let me say marriage, because in Estonia you don't necessarily need to marry, like I said in the previous video, before you are considered as legally binded with someone. So you can be a registered partner. I think that is what they mean by in common law marriage. So, but I believe that in mostly for African countries, it's usually marriage that we used to do. So you have to click married. Then, do you have any family members? Of course, you have family members. If you have family members, actually. But in most cases, we have family members like your dad, your mom, your brothers, your sisters, and all other family members. So you are going to put yes. Now there is one document that they call family relation. So that's where you are going to fill in all your family members. If you indicate that yes, you have a family member. So now they are asking for the applicant's educational background. So what is the level of education that you have? You have a bachelor's degree, you went to secondary school, you went to primary school, or you have a master's degree even. So you have to list everything here, but there is only 3 space for educational records. So choose the one that is the highest. So you're going to choose. Then data concerning study, employment, and other important aspects in chronological order. So they are asking you for the data concerning maybe you have been employed before, or maybe your education and everything like that. So in this education where I mentioned first, where you saw education, write the highest level of your education. Maybe it is master's degree or bachelor's degree. So you have to write the highest level of your education there. So now where they are now asking for data concerning study, employment, and other important aspects, that's when you are now going to put where you have worked before, the university that you went to, all those things. So that's where you are going to put. But I will advise that you put the data of your education first, then followed by the last place that you work or where you are currently working. So that is what I'm going to advise. So I think it is better for you to put the current place where you are working if you are going to put your data of employment, then the highest education that you have. So you are going to put it there. Then, are you holding a resident permit or right of residence? Just click no, because you are just applying for resident permit. Just click no in that place. Then have you been punished for a criminal offense? So if you have not have any criminal record before, then you have to click no. But if you have had a criminal record before, then you have to click yes. But I don't know the implication about that, so I will advise that you click no. So then they ask a couple of questions: if you have served in the military before and all those things. If you have not, click no. If you have, click yes. Now they are now asking for the place of issue of your document. So if you want your spouse to collect your document for you in Estonia, then you are going to click where you want your spouse to pick up the document, and then you are going to write something they call authorization letter. So that is an authorization letter that you are authorizing your spouse to pick the document for you. So you write that letter, but when you get to the embassy as well, Sometimes they will give you a particular form to fill that you want so person to collect your documents for you. So you fill the name of your husband there and everything. So they will know that you want your spouse to pick the document for you. And again, they are asking for aliens passports. I think I should leave that place empty, because even personally I don't really understand what that is information is doing there. Because if you read it very well, there is a little bit of complication there, so just ignore it. So that is what I'm going to say about that. Then the other information is, if you are applying for a minor, adebin is a minor you are applying for, that's when you now fill that part. But you don't need to fill it since you are coming to meet your spouse. So, but for children own, I think that of course you have to fill that part, because you are filling the form on behalf of your children that is under 18 years old. So you have to fill that legal representative part. Then, if you have other important information that is related to your application that you want to write, you can put it, there is a space for it. Otherwise, leave it blank. Then write the name, then write the date, and then you put the signature, just like in the first page as well. So that's how the form is, and that's how you are going to fill the form. Now, I think I've wasted a bunch of time on this one, but I just wanted to take time on how you fill the form correctly. After filling the resident permit form and data for family form, there is another document that you need to fill, and this document will be filled by the sponsor or the spouse that is in Estonia that is inviting the other spouse. It is called invitation by spouse. So you are the one that is going to fill this form, and when you fill the form, it's still the same kind of question in the form. So when you fill the form, then you are going to sign, write the same date, that is on the resident permit application form and the data for family. So you are going to give it to your spouse to submit at the embassy when she goes for her appointment. So that means that you are going to fill three forms. That means you are going to fill three forms. That is your resident permit application form, data for family relations, and invitation by spouse. All these three forms can be found on the police website. I will try as much as possible to display the police website on the screen for you, and also I'll put it in the description of the video, so you can Google it and then you will get the forms in that place. Now, I hope you understand how I explained how to fill this particular form. Now, the next document I'm going to be talking about is your notarized marriage certificate. And please, let me say this here. Any document that you are submitting to the embassy, once you make the photocopy, always notarize all the photocopies of all the documents that you are submitting at the embassy. Now, for your educational documents and your marriage certificate, first of all, you have to legalize that document at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Nigeria. So the next thing is, every other document that you want to use, that you must make the photocopy of it, you must do the notarized copy. Otherwise, if you don't do that, the effect is that you will give them excuse to say that they don't believe in that document, or the document might be forged document, or it might be fake document. But when you notarize it, there is no excuse for them. So that these are all the little details that we need to pay attention to, that is actually causing issues with the approval of the resident permit application. Remember that from the first video I made, I mentioned the fact that I'm going to be giving you this information based on personal experience. So I'm giving you this information based on my own personal experience and from the experiences of people that I've met, that I have discussed with, that have one issue or the other, or that were able to do their own without any hassle at all. Within few weeks, they have approved it. So I have conversation with so many people, and that is where I'm actually sourcing this information from. Now, the next thing is your bank statement. Bank statement of 6 months from your sponsor. So your sponsor, that is your spouse that is residing in Estonia, have to submit his or her 6 month statement of account. And in Estonia, it is possible to print the document by signing it digitally. So either you go to the bank to obtain it and tell them to stamp it, although according to what is written on Estonian law, I shared it in my last video, you must actually sign and stamp your statement of account. So I will advise you to go physically to the bank and obtain the physical copy of the statement of account, which the bank should sign and stamp for you. It is just maximum of 10 euros to do that. So I think that the money is not too much. Just make sure you get all the documents correct and let everything be done in the appropriate way. That is, you should cross your T's and dot your I's. Don't leave any stone untouched. Then the next thing I will talk about is your insurance. So your spouse must have at least 1 year insurance. In my own time, I used ICO insurance. If you are from Nigeria, there is ICO insurance in Nigeria. It is much more cheaper than buying an European insurance. And European insurance for 1 year can cost up to 200 euros or more. But when you buy ICO insurance, the time I did for my own spouse, I bought it around 30 something thousand naira from Nigeria, which is less than 40 euros. You see, when you compare the price, man, it is a lot different. So if you are in Nigeria or wherever in your country and there are internationally recognized health insurance, you can actually buy for your spouse. And make sure you find out very well if that particular health insurance is acceptable in Estonia. They usually put it there if it's actually acceptable in Estonia. For example, the ICO insurance, they will ask you, which country do you want to use this insurance? So you will pick Estonia. So they will actually do the Estonian one for you. So that is how they do it. But make sure you confirm very well if that insurance is actually acceptable in Estonia. Then the next thing I'm going to be talking about is sponsors house contract or an extract from the population register. So it's either your spouse do the photocopy of his contact address in Estonia and send it to you, or you can go to the population registry and collect the extract from the population register. That one also works. It means that you have registered your apartment in Estonia and then they have the record in the population register. So that also works. So either of the two, you can use it. Then another thing is sponsors work contract. So it is either your spouse give you the photocopy of his work contract or your spouse should go to his company and collect the proof addressed to Estonia embassy that you are going, or generally addressed to the Estonia police and border guard there is consular department, so you can find out about the address. I will see if it will be possible for me to put the address on this video for you. So you have to find out the address, then yeah, you address it to them, or you might not even address it. They might write to whom it may concern. So then that one you collect from your company must have the company's logo, or let me just say it must be on the company's letterhead paper. Then the company must sign and stamp it as well, so that the document will be genuine. You understand? So that's another one. The another one is the front and back page of the sponsor's resident permit. So your sponsor, like I said, is your spouse that is already residing in Estonia. So it means that he must have a resident permit. So his resident permit, he had to do the photocopy of his resident permit, both the front and the back. Then you give you the photocopy of it. So you have to submit that one as well. Then the front page of the international passport of your sponsor, that is your spouse international passport, then you have to give that one to them also. Then another document I will talk about is the authorization letter. So if you want your spouse that is residing in Estonia to collect your resident permit on your behalf, because for example, if you are from Nigeria, it means you have to travel outside Nigeria to go and submit the application for your resident permit. Now it takes minimum of 3 months for your resident permit to be out. So in my own opinion, I don't expect that you are going to stay in that particular country where you went for your TRP application for that long. So you have to return back to base. Then it is usually more advisable for you to say that you want your spouse to collect your resident permit for you when it is approved in Estonia, so that your spouse will now DHL it to you or send it through somebody to you. You understand? So I think it is much more better like that. So that is the usefulness of the authorization letter. Then your own international passport, you must submit a photocopy of your data page for your international passport. Then some other additional documents that are very, very important for you to have is firstly the applicant's employment letter. So if you are currently employed, you must submit your employment letter as part of the document that you are going to submit, because the reason why I'm adding this additional document is that this is one of the things they will use to delay the issuance of your resident permit. You understand? They will be asking you questions upon questions just to ensure that they either make you do something that will disqualify the application or to delay the application. So trust me, they did this for me and my wife as well. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. So you have to submit the photocopy of your employment letter, or if you're actually currently employed, if it is not a secret to where you are working that you want to travel to go and meet your spouse, you can tell your company to issue the letter from your company that okay, you're actually working with them, just like the one that your spouse also collected from his workplace. That's how they will do it. But I think that in order for you to save yourself a lot of headache, because some company might not be happy to give you that document, so it's better for you to use your employment letter. Now, the second additional document is the applicant's bank statement for 6 months. If it is possible for you to get your bank statement for 6 months, get it. And even if it is just 3 months, minimum of 3 months, get it, submit it as well. In addition to the bank statement of your spouse, let them know that the income is coming from two places. Now, if you are not employed under anybody, if you have your own personal business, then you have to submit your business certificate to them that okay, you are into business and this is your business certificate. For example, if you are from Nigeria, your corporate affairs commission certificate, you must give it to them so that they will know. Then another thing is the applicant's school certificates and so on. So if you are educated, all your school certificates, maybe from your secondary school, your university, but I think that what is more important is your highest educational certificate. That is what is most important. But sometimes they might want to know, okay, what have you been doing for the past 10 years? Even though, in my own opinion, it is none of their business, but they used to ask questions that if you are not somebody that have self-control, you can just insult them because they will ask questions that is no absolutely none of their business. But I mean, you are the one that is submitting application. Sometimes you just have to accept some certain things so that you can achieve what you actually wanted to achieve. You understand? So you just have to give them all your educational certificates that you can lay your hand on, or the latest educational certificates that you have, or the highest one that you have. Now, this is the last document I'm going to mention. That is the applicant's CV, or what you call curriculum vitae, CV in short. So I know that this thing will be very, very funny to you. Like, I'm only coming to meet my spouse, and you are asking me for CV. See, the truth is, it is very ridiculous, but my advice is you should provide it. So you can find all these professional CV builders, incorporate all your uh, both educational and your work journey chronologically. Make sure that the month, the year, when you start, when you end, everything is actually visible on your CV. You see, if you provide all these documents that I mentioned, in fact, you will be so free of too many questions back and forth and everything. And of course, before I forget, also submit some of your pictures that you took during the time that you did your wedding. If you are the one that did white wedding or traditional wedding or even registry, give them at least few pictures that shows that you actually got married indeed. So give them those pictures, and I'm telling you, with that, I really don't think that there is anything else they will ask. Of course, don't get it wrong. They always want to ask one question or the other. Always want to ask one question or the other. Even if the question is actually, in the real sense of it, not relevant to the application that you are submitting, they still always want to ask question. So what I would say about the journey of coming to meet your spouse in Estonia is that swallow your pride, take some certain things that you need to take in order for you to achieve what you want to achieve, and that is joining your spouse in Estonia. But I will just advise you about some certain things that if they're actually asking some certain questions, it is okay for you to talk if you think that the question they're asking is irrelevant. It is okay for you to say that this question is actually irrelevant to my application, but you have to base it on the law. So that will be the end of the video for today. I know this video is very, very long, but I need to take my time to explain this to you. So next time, I'll give you the other information that you need. So I'm going to see you next time, and until then, peace out.
Thanks for watching Hakeem B. Bello, your source for educational advice, inspiration, lifestyle, and travel. Remember, knowledge is the gateway to extraordinary adventures.